Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, it is 11:03 on The Lock Shop. What's going on, Dusty and Huss? With you on a Friday. Jake will be by, and he'll be in a great mood because of the Blue Jays, right, Jay? It's going to be nice to get Jake on today, isn't it, Huss?
It's going to be great. And listen, I'm pumped too because I'd been in a little bit of a cold streak. The Blue Jays jacket, the return of the jacket.
Oh, my goodness.
Joy back to the Jays and to me. And nice win on the Blue Jays last night. How about Kevin Gausman? What a start. And
well, we said he was due.
Coming.
Yeah,
homers are back. You know, Remus said to me 2 days ago on the show, do you realize that we're 50-odd games in and the Jays have not had a home run from the cleanup position at any point this entire season?
That is so ridiculous.
I'm like, that's impossible. No, that's true. And what do? They bring the jacket back. Bo hits cleanup. Bo goes yard. And then last night, like IKF went deep. Vladdy went deep. I think Danny Jansen went deep. It was nice. So the Jays, you know, as brutal as they've been all year, and again, we'll get into this more with Jake a little later on. But as brutal as they've been all year, they're only 3 games under 500 right now. And, you know, they've had a pretty tough schedule. They played a lot of good teams. Maybe they can get on a bit of a roll here. I know one thing, the Tigers had their soul taken from them by the Royals earlier this week, and they have not been able to get back up off the ground. And hopefully the Jays can continue.
I'm already on them today. I'm already on them. We said it on the show this morning. Made it the Coolbet hotline of the day. As long as that jacket is back, they are back. So we got on them this morning. Slight favorite. I think they were like minus 118 or something. So we got on them this morning.
Credit to you for having the confidence in Alek Manoah, but I will ride. I will ride. This is the jacket guy.
This has nothing to do with anything except the jacket is 2-0. So you got to continue to ride with that.
When you look at Manoah, he had a great outing.
His last start. His last start was excellent.
I mean, it was ugly at the start. I mean, you know, and he's basically gone every Sunday for the last 3 weeks. He got lit up pretty good in 4 innings against the Nats, who aren't very good to begin with. You know, he was fine against the Twins in his next start. You know, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. But again, the Jays scored 1 run. You're not going to win when you score 1 run. But man, that start he had last week against Tampa, 7 innings, 1 hit, 7 Ks. Tell you what, now we know why they're rolling him out a little earlier than they had been before. So if Manoah is back and the jacket is back, this might start feeling like 21-22.
Exactly.
This ugly 24.
We're dialing it back a little bit of a throwback here. Flashback Friday for the Blue Jays. So we're definitely going to ride with that. Jake will pop on around 11:30 Edmonton time, 12:30 Winnipeg time, and we'll get his thoughts on where the Jays are at right now. Oilers Stars last night, Huss. Holy smokes, a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I was at an event, the Taste of the Bombers last night.
Yeah, so tell me about this. I saw you tweet about this. Like food trucks on the field there or outdoors, or what was it?
Not food trucks. So essentially, you come into the stadium and half of the stadium, like one end zone and one entire side, was open. And they had, I don't know, like a dozen or 14 local restaurants that all made a dish, like a smaller version of one of their signature dishes. So you'd have this passport. You go to each place, they stamp you, and you eat whatever the restaurant's cooking up. And then they had I'd say probably another 6 places that were doing desserts. So, I mean, listen, I didn't make it through every restaurant or every dessert, but I was completely stuffed. I mean, you could have rolled me out of there afterwards. But you know what they're doing is, and this is leading into the Grey Cup next year. Wade Miller, he's got some pretty grandiose plans for the Grey Cup here in Winnipeg. And there's going to be an event the taste of the CFL. So everyone, after trying everything, then voted their favorite item to represent the Bombers at the taste of the CFL. And the plan is that all of the other teams in the league will also whether they do an event like we did here in Winnipeg or do some sort of thing. So they've got their representative coming. And then people, when they come to the Taste of the CFL event, will try something from the representative of each of the CFL teams, eat, drink, and be merry. But it was unbelievable. A lot of things. I tried just about everything. There was this one restaurant. I won't name them because this is a bit of a shot. But you're dealing with a whole bunch of football fans. And like the concept of it was sort of elevated tailgate food. So there was like a shrimp taco, a couple neat, things where it had like kind of a wonton wrapper shell with some sort of a slaw in it and like really good, shrimp in it. There was a butter chicken poutine from one of the places. There was a pulled pork, potato salad. This one place had a chicken. What was it? A chicken liver pate with like jalapeno jelly or something like that. And I mean, listen, I'm not in your category of like the 8-year-old palate, but even I said to the people I was with, I don't know if I'm daring enough to jump on that one. And from feedback from a couple of my buddies, I made the right decision. But I'll tell you what, you have had the bacon double cheeseburger at Confusion Corner Bar and Grill.
Yes, I have.
And that is something, I think I maybe was the first person to try it when the chef was making it. And I said, this might be the best burger I've ever had. You need to keep this. And it has been a mainstay ever since. They actually made a smaller version of that.
Like a slider version?
Yeah, a large slider with
the
bacon, the beef, the sauce on it. And this event last night, like, it was great because it wasn't like there was thousands of people there. There was like probably 700 or 800 or something like that. And most of them, you would wait for a minute or two to get whatever at the certain spots. There was like 100 people in line at all times all night for that burger at Confusion Corner. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are the representative of the Bombers for it. But a lot of people enjoyed what you have enjoyed before, which is one of the most elite burgers. Very simple, but damn good.
Yeah, man. Winnipeg rolls out food. There's that, and then the damn chicken tendies at Elephant and Castle. Like, I cannot wait. I don't think I'm in Winnipeg till like week 4 or 5. And I'm like, man, that's too long. I want to be there right away. I want to go get my hands on those chicken tenders.
Well, speaking of chicken tenders, did you ever walk down the street to Mitzi's?
I didn't, and I had a lot of people be like, Dusty, because every time I'm there, I'll hop on Elephant Castle, tweet out like, oh, the chicken tendies, and people are always like, Dusty, just go down to Mitzi's. It's not far away, and it's delicious.
It's 2 blocks away. Unfortunately,
it's gone now, right?
It's gone, and it's not like, dude, when they announced that they were closing, because Shirley Eng, who had opened it up, they had a couple small Chinese combos, but this place was essentially just a factory of homemade chicken fingers, and they are the inventors of the honey dill. Like, it actually was a screw up that people liked so much, and it has popularized, and we've talked about it before. That's sort of now a Manitoba thing. You can get it anywhere. They just said that they were closing at the end of April, and they were no longer doing dine-in, period. Like, they hadn't done dine-in since the pandemic. There was a lineup every single day when they opened of about 50 people around the block.
Smokes.
Waiting to get those in right till the final days. So I miss it greatly. I don't know whether anyone's going to be able to try to duplicate what they did maybe somewhere else, but yes, we've got some good chicken tenders. I've spent a lot of time at the E&C in my day, so I got a lot of love for them. They're probably might be number 1 outside of fast food joints, number 1 on my skip order power poll.
Yeah, okay, good. I like that.
Great beef dip there. As well.
Oh, really? Okay, good to know, because I am a beef dip connoisseur. I don't know how I'd ever not order the tendies. It'd kill me.
Hey, you know what? You got that fat TSN per diem. Get them both.
I should get them both. I'll take the
bring it
tendies to the room.
afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want my. Can I also get a room beef dip, please? Sure. Thank you. That'd be great.
What do you guys need at Hudson's when Tommy G's doing the post game, which I watched last night?
Dude, you're gonna love this, but I get the chicken tenders at Hudson's as well.
Okay. What do normal people get?
They
order more than just chicken tenders.
Well, they do great. Hudson's got great wings, so that's good. But I always go chicken tendies and poutine because the poutine at Hudson's is unreal. And the chicken tendies, like, they're massive. They're not like big and like super thick like Elephant and Castle, but they're really wide and almost like smashed and flattened down and really crispy. It's it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Smitty the welder, just saying out loud what everyone is thinking. LMAO, nothing funnier than a grown adult looking forward to chicken tenders. LOL. Hey, if they're really good, they're really good. What can you do?
All right. So anyway, that whole thing started when you I asked you about the game. You're like, I was at an event, but Oilers and Stars last night, buddy. If that's if this is what we're going to get in this series, it's going to be an all-timer, man. Like, that was an excellent game last night.
Yeah, well, the reason why I mentioned the event was because I was there for the first two periods, but I did get back for the third. And listen, I was really impressed with the Oilers. I thought that, for what they were going up against in Dallas, for the issues that they've had when they haven't been on their game, the way they were able to limit scoring chances and shots, I mean, they sort of did what we talked about yesterday. They were able to build off what they did in game 6 and 7 and play the type of game that, frankly, you have to if you want to beat the Dallas Stars. Now, I mean, the tying goal by Seguin, Stuart Skinner couldn't do anything. And by the way, I saw that interview afterwards. Are we sure that one of he or YouTube Trev wasn't adopted? Like, it was even more. I often saw it when I saw Trev, but when I saw him last night, it actually kind of freaked me out. That's a total aside. But listen, that one-off Nurse's skate, and I'm sure people were mad, whatever, that happens. For their PK to be able to get through that 4-minute power play early with Connor McDavid in the box, like, that was the game to me. And honestly, that is something that can help them, not just last night, but I think they can give them a level of confidence in crunch time, and when they're going up against a Dallas power play that can kill you. Although they're missing Rupee Hintz right now. And then I heard Merrick today say, when I saw Connor McDavid afterwards, all I could think of is that he robbed everybody 20 minutes of sleep. Because how he did not score on the open net that he had later on. Like that's 99 times out of 100. That's in the back of the net.
Well, what's really weird to me is I feel like most fourth liners would have scored there because they would have just banged it home immediately. Right? They just would have there's the puck. I'm going to shoot it without looking up. And McDavid's always just like, well, he's probably calculating 1,000 odds in his head. And then like almost like a triple clutch before he got it off. And at that point, I mean, I was at home, watched the game with Marshall. He'd gone to bed. I'm pretty sure I heard the entire city of exhale from my basement on the West End when he didn't bury that. It was just like, oh my God, how did that not happen? And then he's the one who ends it so quickly in the second overtime. But I mean, I don't think he misses another opportunity that good the rest of the series. I don't know how. I don't know how he didn't finish that.
Well, funny thing was, you sort of knew that he'd find a way to make up for it, which of course he did early on in OT. Like, I mean, listen, these series are long. Both of these teams suck at winning game ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas hasn't been good. Oilers have been terrible. So for Edmonton as the underdog in this series, playing on the road to get that first win, I mean, massive is an understatement, to be honest. Now, nobody start counting out the Dallas Stars because they did lose the first two games at home to the Vegas Golden Knights and then are going on the road and winning the next two. So, but I'll tell you what, the play really tight. I think, generally great playoff hockey of two teams, and I'll focus in on Edmonton, but like a team that understands what they have to do to hang with a team like Dallas and to give their stars the chance to be the difference makers, when, in that late third period, in overtime, and the guys got it done. And, McDavid did not stand out as much as we sort of expected him to in that second round. This is the time. And listen, we joked that he stood out because he didn't score on that other one. He got it done again. This is, I think, a huge boost for Edmonton and for their captain. I can't wait to see the rest of this series. It's a hell of a way to start. What did that do to the nasty chat?
Oh, it was buddy. It was rolling today. Like we were flying today, both on the audio stream and then on YouTube as well. People were absolutely losing their minds all morning. I mean, it was. I thought, like, we spent the entire first hour kind of breaking down everything that happened in the game, all the big moments and all that stuff. And then after we chatted with Mike Johnson today, who joined us from Prague, where he's doing the World Championships, I kind of laid out, like, the biggest thing, I think, for me coming out of that win for the Edmonton Oilers was that they played 4 periods and a little bit more, and Connor McDavid played 27 minutes, and they won. Like, Connor McDavid played 30 minutes in a regulation game against the Vancouver Canucks early in that series. And they went to overtime last night. Now, power play time was limited. They only had the 1 power play. But the fact that he played 27 minutes, Draisaitl played 25 minutes, like, to not have to milk those guys so heavily early in a game or early in a series is just huge. And that's because the fourth line, like, they weren't lighting it on fire, but they were doing good things. You could roll them out there. Like, remember, one of the things we brought up was that against the Jets. Remember that game against the Jets when Darnell Nurse played like 60 minutes? Yeah. And they basically went down to like 7 forwards. They were running 2 lines and Devon Shore. And that was it. And that's, like I said, this is not what that team was. Like, this team just continued. Connor Brown and Carrick and Janmark were getting shifts in overtime regularly. So, I don't know. I just think it was big the way that they won it. You mentioned, massive is an understatement to take game 1 on the road like that. But the way that they won it, to me, is kind of a message of what they're capable of.
I'm glad you mentioned the ice time, because going into overtime, Draisaitl and McDavid they weren't yet at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought, listen, and again, I had come back from this event, so I'd only seen the third period. And I heard them say that. And I'm like, oh, man, some production assistant's going to be getting a smack over the head. There's no way that's true.
Yeah.
And I checked it. I'm like, what? So you're exactly right. I mean, Dallas is such a deep team. They are going to roll their 4 lines. They will continue to come wave after wave after wave, and you need to be able to do it. And if your guys are so gassed at the end of the third period, I mean, it will kill you. So credit to Carrick and Fogle and Janmark and Derek Ryan. I mean, the guys that, normally might be getting plenty less ice time, for the fact that they earned the trust of their coach and went out and played incredibly well. Like, if McDavid plays 26 minutes in the first 3 periods, like, I'm not sure he has, and frankly, I'm not sure the rest of the team has, because they were all out on defense as well. And you need to have the energy for that as well against a team like Dallas. So, man, listen, Chris Knoblauch's impressing a lot of people. I mean, I think back to that timeout that he called, in Game 7, his decisions with the goaltending that have worked out. He's been pressing the right buttons right now, and it seems like he's got a pretty good understanding of what Edmonton is going to need to do to hang with and beat the Dallas Stars. And that game number 1 was quite a blueprint for Edmonton to start off this series.
And you talked about the big penalty kill there in overtime. We were going over some of the numbers. They obviously were 5 for 5 on the penalty kill last night. 18 for their last 18. And they've killed off 6 straight double minors as well, which is pretty impressive. And I said this morning, and I never came back around to the number, but somebody did send it in. So if they're still listening on TuneIn or on iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com or watching on YouTube, thank you for sending it along. Because when I was watching their penalty kill last night, I thought, this reminds me of watching their penalty kill. Same against Vancouver. This reminds me of watching their penalty kill hustle when they were on the heater, 16 in a row in the middle of the season. Like, they take a penalty and you wouldn't even worry because the penalty kill is just going to get it done. So I was like, I wonder what the numbers were on that. And when they were on that streak, it was 96%. And that's what they're doing again right now. And it's very impressive.
Yeah. And listen, at some point, Dallas is going to score.
Yeah.
This is a really good team. They're going to get it done. Are you doing a shot?
I'm doing a shot. It's Friday around here, and our partner from Strathcona Spirits brought by more birdie booze. So we're just all kind of taking down a Mickey here. Cheers, boys.
Cheers to a big game one win.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I gotta get you some of this. When I come out to Winnipeg, I'll bring you some of this this birdie booze. It's really good, buddy. It's good.
It looks good.
Like we've got lucky. We've teamed up. It's got to be the brightest beverage like you've ever seen. It's like nuclear. There might be radiation in there. It's what's the name of the berry, boys? Hascap. It's a Hascap berry. Is what and it's a combination of what? Blueberry and blackberry? Anyway, it's good, man. It's really good. And I'm going on a golf trip in a little bit. I'm going to take a bunch of those for the boys, and it's on at that point. It's going to be real nice.
It looks like it's going to be good on the course and in the club.
By the way, quickly on that Dallas, if you still like Dallas, and as I said, you're certainly not counting them out here. There's a long way to go in this series, but the number for the series price has moved from Dallas being on the, what was it, minus 130, minus 133. It's now plus. Now it's plus 155. If you think the Stars can take 4 of the next 6 or 4 of the next 5 or the next 4 or whatever, you can get on Dallas right now at plus 155, which is a pretty nice swing there if you believe that they can get it done still.
Well, and it's a pretty interesting difference from the other series. Now, again, Florida was the favorite to begin with, but both home teams lost. The Rangers going into tonight are plus 250 to win their series, and Dallas plus 155. Wow. But listen, this is kind of a fun lock shop conversation because you have the opportunity to hit the home team after losing game 1 in both of the hockey series. And that same opportunity exists in the T-Wolves Mavericks series. And the T-Wolves are plus 131 to win. And again, they were the biggest favorite of those 3 teams. I mean, Florida was a slight favorite. Dallas was minus 133. The T-Wolves to begin the series were minus 179 and now plus 131. So I would guess that one of those 3 teams, the Rangers, the Stars, or Minnesota, will come back and win their series. We just have to figure out which one and get on it before they play game 2 at a nice plus money number.
You can text us anytime, 780-218-999. That's a good sign too. Like I feel, if we're going to be pushing out, I got to take a whole Mickey for a run and see how I feel in the morning just to sort of verify that for people, Huss. But if you can get through this, have a good time and feel great in the morning. That's a magic elixir right there.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And we'll ask Jake this as well when he jumps on in a minute. But in the pre-Birdie Booze era,
yeah,
you're out with your buddies and someone says, all right, we're doing a shot. What do you want? Like, what's your go-to? I've gone through
different eras, obviously. For a long time, I was just on Jaeger bombs. I just do Jaeger bombs. These were good. If it's a light night, I'll get one of those Burt Reynolds. It's like nothing. But usually if somebody's like, Dusty, let's go do a shot, I'm just Fireball. Just give me Fireball and we'll take down some Fireball. Like it's
Fireball is and everyone kind of likes it. I'm a Jaeger guy too.
Yeah.
Although I don't like you do it with the Red Bull.
Well, I used to until I got on blood pressure pills. Now I kind of lay off the Red Bull a little bit, but yeah. Used to be the Jaeger bombs with the Red Bull all the time.
Jägermeister, I always tell people it's all the herbs. It's all the herbs in there. That's actually I think it was initially invented to, as a health cure.
Yeah.
So,
well, then, a couple of guys like us just got to live those healthy lives, us. And if it's Jaeger, that's how it gets done. That's how it gets done. I'm sure Jake, after the Jays win last night, did a bunch of shots somewhere. Let's bring in Jake from Coolbet here on the Lock Shop today. Of course, presented to you by Coolbet. If you have not yet signed up for an account, please do go to coolbet.com. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you do. Jake, what's your go-to if you're having shots with the crew?
It depends. Depends on how many shots I've had leading up to that point. It seems the more I got in me, the more willing I am to do tequila, but I'm not the biggest tequila fan. So I don't know. It also depends on what the bar carries. I love. I don't know if you guys have had Screwball whiskey, the peanut butter whiskey. If I can get that at a bar, like I'll absolutely crush one of those.
Funny, I have not tried that, but
Me
I
neither.
have seen people talking about it. I've seen some of it on online. It like I would definitely try it. It does seem like a kind of a bizarre combination, to be honest, with peanut butter and whiskey, but people speak highly of it.
If you're a peanut butter fan, it is so good. I drink it on the rocks. It's delicious.
Oh, look at
Like
you.
It's big guy.
Distinguished man here. Hey, like, holy smokes!
I need flavored whiskey to enjoy the rocks.
You have your peanut butter whiskey on the rocks. That is kind of funny. I like it. Yeah.
Hey,
baby man.
now that you're a big time downtown TO guy, what how much are shots in and around some of these bougie places that you hang out with? Like, what's the damage on beers and like just when you go out to the spot in and around that downtown? What are they sticking you with for that?
Silly, like probably like most of the higher end places, you're probably looking at double digits for one shot. 10, 9, 10, 12. Like it's ridiculous. It's out of control. Like you're better off having more shots at the apartment and having less to drink there.
100%.
You gotta find the spots that have like the happy hours going on, or there's a spot called Two Cats, and it's just down like just a block over, and they have like a $4 drink during like between 9 and 11. So it's like you go there for a little pre-drink and then you head out to a bar after that. So
I've been to Two Cats on a couple of occasions. Dusty, you're going to love this. I have to tell you guys this story very quickly. We were in town for a Jays game. My buddy Hammer, who's now back in Winnipeg, was working in Toronto for a few years, had a really nice spot down by the well, very close to where you are, right by the ballpark. He said, "You know what, guys? We got to go out afterwards. We're going to go to this place called Two Cats." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds awesome." So we'll go there and listen, there's tons of females there. We're mixing it up. And I should mention, he has a, what do you call it? Like he was born, he only has an arm up to here, and he's got like a fake.
Oh, a prosthetic. A prosthetic. Like in the Fugitive.
Yeah, exactly. He's got this prosthetic. And by the way, one of Canada's top amputee golfers as well. No way. In the Nationals a bit. Anyways, great guy, supporter of the show. I know he checks the lock shop and everything like that. Anyways, the reason I bring up Hammer, not only did he bring us there, but I went to get around for people and the girls that we were talking with. I turn around and I look, and on the dance floor, the prosthetic arm is being passed around the bar, essentially crowd surfing at Two Cats, just to give you an idea about some of the mayhem that can happen at that place. Definitely a great spot. If you are like an Edmonton or a Winnipegger and you're looking for some of the spot, remember that name. I think you can pretty much guarantee yourself a good time at that joint. Look out for prosthetics.
I was going to say, you probably don't see that every night at Two Cats. Imagine if you did. That'd be quite something. Hey, quickly, I want to just hit on peanut butter for one more second. Have you guys had a peanut butter burger?
I have not.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, out here, Hudson's actually. Peanut butter burger. And it's like Jake said, peanut butter's good on everything. So we was down, it was like a couple of Augusts ago, went down. The board's like, I was down in Lethbridge at the Hudson's down there, and they're like, you got to try this peanut butter burger. I was like, man, I love peanut butter and love burgers, but I don't know if that's a combination. But my God, the peanut butter like melted onto the burger. It's unreal.
I can't believe that you actually tried that.
Like I was going to say,
I like both of them.
Getting you to try something like that's got to be that's the hardest thing in the world.
I thought that would have been on the Dustin Nielson no-fly list for sure. But the fact that you've tried it, I definitely will now. I feel like even if I wasn't going to, I mean, listen, it's like the Life commercial. Mikey likes it.
It is the Lock Shop, Dusty Huss and Jake. Jake, we definitely want to get to the Jays, but just your thoughts on the first couple of games here of the Eastern and Western Conference NHL Finals. Yeah,
last night was crazy. I was up watching the whole thing. feels like it should have ended in that first OT. You know, you go back to the 4-minute penalty on McDavid. And I'm like, Dallas doesn't score here. Edmonton's going to win this game. And then sure enough, McDavid gets that chance in the first OT. I thought it was going to swing back after that. And then sure enough, early in the second, thank God, too, because we could have been up all night.
Oh, yeah.
Like for you guys, it's probably not as bad, right? I mean, especially you, Dusty. You got a couple extra hours on us. I'm sitting here, it's like 12:30 by the time I'm getting into bed after double OT there.
Yeah, they like the regulation games against Vancouver started like 8:30. This one started at 6:30. So it still ended prior to the games against the Kings and prior to the games against the Canucks. So, I mean, I could have done 4. I could have done 4 overtimes last night before I had to check out. So, I mean, I was happy that it ended when it did because I had a bunch of stuff I wanted to get done and try to get to bed on time. But highly, like, I mean, highly entertaining. Many key moments in that game. I think I mentioned to Huss earlier, like the fact that McDavid and Draisaitl only had to play 27 and 25 minutes in a 4-period game is big. But also, Huss, Stuart Skinner with a breakaway stop, his first save of the game, and then he sort of just settled in. And I mean, if the Oilers are going to win this, if Stuart Skinner plays the way he played last night, the Oilers are probably going to win this series. I thought he was outstanding last night. I don't know how much more of that he's got in his bag, but to see that, Jake, early in the series from the Oilers' perspective, Skinner playing well, I think has to go a long way.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Like, I'm sure it's been a huge talking point on the show today. Skinner, I thought, looked great. I mean, he matched Ottinger all night, and it ended up winning in the hockey game. So you get the first win on the road. If you're an Oilers fan, you're thrilled right now. I mean, you're that much closer to a Stanley Cup final. If you're Coolbet, maybe you're not as thrilled, but you know that's just what comes with the way the Oilers have been playing. It's you hope you can see that more from Skinner going forward here, and maybe as games go on and as the series goes on, maybe he's just elevating his game. Like there are goalies that can do that, and I'm sure if you're an Oilers fan, that's your hope right now that this is the new Stuart Skinner. This is the under pressure, heavy moment Stuart Skinner.
I just have to say, I mean, I think it's probably pretty clear knowing the presence that you guys have here in Edmonton, but the Oilers winning the Cup would be worst case scenario for Coolbet or what?
Out of the Final Four, absolutely. I mean, you can only imagine how many people are on Edmonton. And probably, the start to the season probably didn't help them. So if the Stanley Cup odds were up, after the first 20 games, I can only imagine what kind of numbers people have out there. I mean, if you're in the Nasty chat and you have an Oilers Stanley Cup ticket, let us know what number you got.
Yeah, what number is it at?
Something to take a look at.
They did open the season
as co-favorite. It was
yeah, it's right there. I think them in Colorado. So, it has been this big. Do you guys like? I think I'm going back to the Rangers tonight. I think that this series. I mean, that was such a close, basically a 1-0 game. I can't see them going back to Florida 2-0. Well, I guess I can. I mean, this is a pick 'em. I mean, it could easily go either way, but I like the Rangers at -108. I still think there's good value on them at home as a pick 'em.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Huss. Honestly, I was just looking at it actually right before I jumped on here. We got some exclusives online, but I was thinking about maybe I just do a bounce back exclusive. Rangers and Timberwolves both to win. I don't hate that. I think it's plus 177.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's kind of where I'd go with it tonight. I like the Rangers to bounce back. The backs are against the wall now. You don't want to go to Florida down 0-2. They'll have the crowd behind them. And I totally agree with you, Huss. I think, kind of a fluke scenario on that second goal, the own goal from Laugh and, whatever, Bennett pots the empty netter. So I think the Rangers had a lot of great chances in the third. I think they come out with a little more sense of urgency early on in the game, and I think they bring it to Florida tonight, get this series to 1-1 before they got to get on the road.
Check out these numbers from everyone in the chat just on Oilers futures. Rod Z 11-1. VR Montenegro got 20-1. That had to have been
in the darkest of times.
The darkest of times, exactly. Steinbach the Nemesis at 12-1. Sobkirk and Spency 5 cents plus 750 right before the playoffs. Some pretty good numbers. VR is 20-1 though. That one stands out amongst them all. You had to have a lot of faith at that point. I mean, we were talking about whether the team could actually find a way to somehow come back and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now they're up 1-0 in the conference finals. Pays to have the talent that Edmonton's bringing to the table every night.
Jake, Toronto Blue Jays. Huss and I rode with the jacket yesterday. It paid off. I'm on the jacket again today for the Coolbet hotline of the day on the Nielsen show this morning. You breathing a little bit easier right now, or are you frustrated that they didn't bring the jacket back earlier?
Well, let's start here. I was at the game Tuesday night, and they were 2-hit and shut out to the White Sox. I was tweeting about it. I was there with my girlfriend. I was miserable. Like, probably not a fun person to be around. And I'm just like, they're done. Like, you can't be this bad. They 14-win White Sox team. They had 2 hits, and then Schneider comes in and he goes, you just got to tip your hat. The guy's throwing 100. It's like, half the guys in the league throw 100. It doesn't matter if the guy's throwing 100. Hit the ball. You know what's coming in hot. Anywho, so I was like, I'm done with this team. I wasn't even paying attention on Wednesday night. I was doing some stuff around here after work. All of a sudden, I check my phone. 4th inning, 7-0, and then I see text. Home run jacket is back. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I go to the Tuesday night game, which you could argue is probably the worst game of the season for the Blue Jays. Absolutely the worst home game of the season. And then the next night, they're mashing homers. The jacket's back out. It's looking a little different with the long Canada sleeve. I don't know if you guys have done any deep dive into what the jacket looks like, but it's changed a bit. And then they had it out again yesterday. And now it's, every team, every good team that's hitting a lot of home runs has something, right? Seattle's got the Trident. I think Baltimore's rolling out like a funnel right now. They just funnel a Gatorade or whatever after a home run. So, it makes baseball fun, especially in the dog days. I think people really wanted to get rid of it when the team kind of, blew that Seattle series. They got rid of it, but fun has returned to the city. Fun has returned to the baseball team, and they're not out of it by any means. Huss said it. They're 3 games back at 500. I think they're only a few games back at the final wild card spot. If they can find the bats, we know they have the bats in the lineup. It's just a matter of if they're going to show up night to night. And the pitching is there. We talked about it at the start of the season. So, yeah, listen, they're not playing the best teams in the league either right now, but this is the time of the year. If you're playing bad teams, you got to pick up wins. So they got to keep it rolling with the Detroit series. Got to take 3 of 4. And then I think they get the White Sox again here coming up soon. So just got to pick up the wins where they can get them and see if they can work their way back into a playoff spot.
Well, and, we were just going through Manoah, who's on the bump tonight. 1-1 with a 3 ERA coming off, the best start that he's had probably in 2 years. And again, the jacket is absolutely back. We've seen it. I don't want to get too far ahead because we all know how things can go up and down, but where's the optimism level for a return to legitimate major league pitching for the big guy that was a Cy Young favorite going into last season?
Yeah, I'm kind of middle of the road right now when it comes to Manoah. I want him to be awesome like he was, you said, a couple years ago, but it hasn't been the greatest start. He is coming off a great most recent start against the Rays. His stuff has looked a lot better. I feel like he's getting a ton more movement from what I've been seeing. But he did get cranked a couple times in AAA when he was, trying to work his way back. The thing is, your options are slim when it comes to starting pitching. So you almost got to hope that he can be a serviceable guy as your 4th or 5th guy in the rotation, because you're going to get, Barrios is going out. He's pitching, pretty well every single night. Gosman's starting to look more like himself. Bassett is, steady Eddie. Kikuchi, I think, is coming on another great season here. Even the game I was at on Tuesday, he didn't pitch bad. They just, it's one of those nights where they couldn't get anything going. So if he can be a serviceable 4 or 5 and not, 2 years ago, he's the guy. He started game 1 of the wild card series. He was the guy. Maybe he takes a little bit of pressure off. Maybe he just focuses on himself. Stay in shape a little bit. I think that was part of the problem after his good season. He came back a little overweight into training camp, and, it led to a rough season last year. I think Manoah has something to prove, and I think that's a good thing for the Blue Jays when it's all said and done.
You like him today?
Yeah, I'm absolutely on them with you guys. How can you not like them? They've scored 9 runs in their past 2 games. The Jackets back. Like, all of a sudden, baseball's fun again. Baseball has not been fun here for a while, really, since we had the Jacket, last time around. Even the games they were winning last year, 2-1, 3-1, 1-0. Like, you have to have perfect pitching every single night to win. If they can score 9 runs a game, you're gonna be tough to lose when you're scoring 9 runs a game.
Keep those bats going. I saw over in the Nasty Chat somebody say something about one of your tweets, so I've gone and retweeted it. I tell you, I wish I would have come up with this myself. Hey, the girl in the crying gif, I recognize her. Where's she from?
Sydney Sweeney. She's like the biggest thing going right now. It's a Euphoria clip.
Okay, I've never seen Euphoria. I've seen some of the other stuff that she's hammering out there right now. But my girlfriend, when I'm telling her about losing another parlay that came up one leg short while we're getting ready for dinner with her parents, and she's just like trying to hold back tears, but the makeup's running a bit, and that's too good, man. That's too good. Like it is like us. This is different. Like I have a wife that deals with my ups and downs on the bed. Like you don't have to answer to anybody, right? Like I remember. Well, not remember, every single NFL season, every single Sunday, Tam will just hear me being like, unbelievable. And she's like, well, what happened? I said, well, I mean, this game should have cashed and would have cashed the parlay. She goes, yeah, but you say unbelievable every Sunday. It's always unbelievable this, unbelievable that. She goes, maybe you just need to be better at it. I'm like, watch it. Like, come on. Like, you're killing me right now. So it's tough to have to like deal with that when you're betting. It's tough.
Hey, while we're talking baseball for a minute and these games, Jake, I got a 3-gamer for the exclusives.
Whoa.
Okay.
All right. We're going with Manoah and the Jays. Money line. The Royals have been unbelievable. And Seth Lugo on the hill tonight, 7-1 with a 1.79 ERA. Should be right there with the Cy Young leaders right now. We're going to take the Royals money line. And again, the Royals, much like the Jays, we've been getting them at close to pick'ems, even in games that, they've been playing like that entire Tigers series. They were minus 115, minus 110. So Toronto, Kansas City, and we're going to take the Astros. They're taking on Oakland in a late game. It's Verlander versus Ross Stripling, who's 1-8 with a 5.19 ERA. I was just going through the Astros season, and I realized, the Astros they won 6 in a row. They're 8-3 in their last 11, and yet they are still 6 games under 500. They were so bad to start the season. I mean, basically bad like Oakland A's bad. They're turning it around. Verlander, I think we can count on. So let's go Toronto, Kansas City, Houston. It's plus 435 when we put it in. So see what Ev Dog can do, and let's throw that up in the exclusives for a little ride with us and get back. And everyone in Edmonton, Dusty's got to focus in on the hockey right now in the series. I, unfortunately, have been freed up to spend a little bit more time focusing on baseball. So let's see if we can bang out our first 3-gamer in the exclusives of the season.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. I every now and then I'm throwing out exclusives for the Blue Jays, but they haven't been that good. So it really hasn't been something that people want to bet on. Now that they're getting hot here, we'll see what happens this weekend. Maybe we'll roll back in on Monday, especially after the playoffs. There's going to be a lot more, MLB, and we'll dive deeper into that. But I should shout out Rod Z here. He also has a 3-gamer: Royals, Blue Jays, and Rangers. I don't know if that's Texas Rangers or New York Rangers. Let us know, Rod Z. I saw that in the chat earlier, plus 575. So I'll get that up for Huss. And then I talked about this already. I know we're on baseball, but if you want the bounce back parlay, I don't have it in the exclusives, but you could take Rangers and Timberwolves, and since it's Friday, 20% win boost is back, weekend win boost. You click the old win booster, And let's see, I'm just going to give myself an idea. $10 bet on that. You're adding an extra, $3.50 to your potential return. So whatever you're betting, if you're betting $15, an extra $5 to your potential return with that 20% win booster. So make sure you're using that at some point this weekend on the NHL or NBA playoffs.
Beautiful. So what's coming up in Winnipeg Sports Talk today, buddy?
We got lots coming on. Shane O'Brien, SOB, to talk a little playoffs today. Is going to be fun. And he was at Pearl Jam last night.
Wait a second. You're having so on the oil stream today, we're having Scotty Upshaw. And they do Missing Curve. They do it together. That's wild. What are the odds of that?
What are the chances?
Yeah.
What are the chances? They've identified EST and WST as places that they need to dive into. So we've got that, Murata Tesh, Scott Billick, and it's been a minute since we've done the NFL Notebook with Hacksaw. So Hacksaw is going to come on right before the marble race. I already see EST and WST rivalries developing in the chat about the marble race today. Poor Matt Hyman finished second by like 0.15 seconds last week. We thought he had it, and then he didn't. But I know VR Montenegro, Spency 5 Sensi, we're seeing them pop in. So, when you're done hanging out with the EST guys on the stream, head on over for us. Hacksaw's NFL segment's always awesome. And then right around 2:45 our time, 2:45 your time, we'll open up registration. And just after 3, we'll finish off the weekend. And then, tonight, shout out to our friends over at Next Door Winnipeg on Sherbrooke, supporting the PWHL. And the finals go tonight. Game number 3, Boston and Minnesota, back in Minnesota. If you do want to bet on it at Coolbet, Boston's plus 112, Minnesota's minus 149. Our friend Liz Hooge, she's going to be hosting a bit of a watch party for that. So I'm going to pop in, have some wings, watch the first period, and then get down to the Sea Bears home opener, which has been sold out for a couple weeks. So looking forward for a little
what's the sellout there, Huss?
Well, it's probably around 7,000 or 8,000 in the lower bowl. Like they could have opened up the upper bowl like they've done in the past.
Yeah.
But I think it was smart. I mean, to sell out your game well in advance, drive people to buy tickets for other games. Obviously, encourage people to get season tickets. It should be fun. And this CEBL game tonight, Sea Bears are 1.5 point favorites at minus 114, minus 132 on the money line, taking on last year's champs, the Scarborough Shooting Stars. We had the coach on yesterday. Today, they were a little rusty. Hopefully, they got some of those bricks out in Saskatchewan on Wednesday. Time to get a win in front of the home fans. It should be a heck of a lot of fun. And the Sea Bears, after losing the first game, by the way, just for any of you that are paying attention to the futures, the Sea Bears went from plus 375 and the second favorite behind Niagara River Lions all the way down to plus 660. So it might be a good time to get in. They do have a great squad. I think they win tonight. I will be backing them as well. So, big WST coming up. And I'm looking forward to jumping on that exclusive 3-gamer tonight. Oiler fans, good luck tomorrow night. And I'll look forward to catching up with you fellas on Monday. And by the way, go Tony Finau and Brian Harmon. Not often my 2 picks are tied for first after the first round. So we'll see what happens on that as well.
Jake?
I got one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got? I was going to say, you got anything else?
I just want to plug, we got the Mem Cup up. It starts tonight. So there's odds for the futures, who's going to win the Mem Cup. London Knights plus 120, Drummondville plus 240, Saginaw plus 270, and Moose Jaw at plus 450. We'll also have game odds. So the game 1 odds are up tonight. It's Moose Jaw versus Saginaw. Moose Jaw is a dog plus 116, Saginaw minus 161 on the money line. So, a ton of odds up there. If you go to the hot events, it is just loaded right now. CBL, Memorial Cup, World Championships continue tomorrow, WNBA, PW, NHL, NBA. We got everything going right now. We're buzzing.
Excellent. Enjoy the weekend, boys. We'll talk to you Monday.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks,
there you go. That is Jake. Yeah, if you want to help in the Memorial Cup, Warriors and Saginaw plus 16, the Warriors, and look, I'm going to ride with the Warriors on this because I just called them winning the WHL final, and they looked amazing in doing it. So the fact that they're at plus 450 in the Memorial Cup, I'm going to hop on that just to cheer for the team from the West, I guess. Stay cool, bet responsibly, though, if you do want to hop on board with that as well. Also on that NHL game tonight, I think, I'll probably have it. Watch the Coolbet socials. I'll have an NHL play for your lock shop play of the day today. I think I'm going to go back to the well on that Panthers Rangers game tonight, but we'll definitely get into that. Spency 5 Centsy is asking about a nasty chat parlay. Jake, I don't know if you're still watching or you want to catch the end of it. I mean, is Jake still hitting around? Jake, Timberwolves money line, Royals money line, and Trocheck over 2.5 shots, plus 338. If we can get the nasty chat parlay up from Spency 5 Centsy, that could be something that you could get your hands on as well. If you missed it earlier today on Edmonton Sports Talk, we launched our $100,000 hole-in-one contest. Qualifying will begin on Monday. That is presented to you by Golf Town. We'll get into that a little bit more here on the oil stream, which is coming up the day after the Edmonton Oilers get the job done in double overtime. Tommy Gazzola and I will be breaking that down. Former PTO with the Oilers, Scotty Upshaw, also was in camp with Dallas at one point, but never played a game for either of them. So unique situation. Anyway, Scotty Upshaw will join us. He's going to pop by around 12:15. We'll get his thoughts on the series and a lot of your comments coming down the pipe here as well. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can just get a small dose of Whale and the Wolf. Oil stream will fire up at noon. If you're watching on YouTube, turn on autoplay. That'll take you right on over to the oil stream when it fires up, so you won't miss a minute of the great action over here at EST. That's going to do it for Lock Shop today. Best of luck tonight, and we will talk to you next week.